Yo, what's going on, Kicks Army? Yeah, I'll be doing a sneaker drawing on the Air Jordan 3 Bordeaux set to release towards the end of September, as well as talking about Walt Frazier's thoughts on Kevin Durant. Let's get it! Now, you guys already know that the stencil that you're seeing on the screen is available over my website, KicksArt.com. And I think at this point, there's either close to 170 different stencils or there is 170. And if there's a stencil that you want to see added to the website that's not already on there, you can go ahead and you can send in a request through the contact tab at the top of the page. I'm telling you guys, if I can be consistent with this 2 new stencils a day that I'm doing for the website, like the website's going to be filled very fast. And you guys know by now, I'm always looking to try to improve. I'm always trying to look to do little things here and there that can make the website much more efficient, as well as the YouTube videos better and stuff like that. I think where the website is right now, it works. It's pretty easy to navigate. It's pretty easy to find whatever you need. The search bar is there, even though it's a little clunky. But as the website gets more and more stencils added to it, and as I go ahead and I add new things to the website period, there may be changes coming up in the future, but those changes would only be things that could benefit the website to make it easier to navigate. A good example of something that's gonna eventually change is that I'm gonna have to add more tabs because of the volume of stencils I'm gonna be adding to the website. One of the tabs at the top of the page is just labeled other brands, where I have a few stencils of all the random brands that don't have a lot of sneaker stencils available for that brand to warrant its own tab yet. But guys, we know that Vans has a lot of different sneaker models, Asics has a lot of different sneaker models. I don't have any Asics on the website yet. New Balance has a lot of different sneaker models I don't have on the site yet. Even Nike has a ridiculous amount of different sneaker models, to the point where I kind of had to take some of the main players and prioritize them in their own tab, such as Kobe, Kevin Durant, and LeBron. And when you go ahead and you look at the Kobe's tab, even though there's not too many stencils on there right now, Kobe does have a pretty wide selection of sneakers that would warrant its own tab, so eventually that whole Kobe section will just be filled up. Kyrie is a good example of a player that will probably eventually get his own tab, just based on the fact that he already has 4 or 5 different signature sneakers out there right now, and if he keeps playing the way he's playing and if he stays healthy, he's gonna get more sneakers down the road. And as a little side thing, one thing that I kind of like about the website too that's pretty low key is because we're dealing with stencils, you know, they don't have any color, they're just the basic outlines of the shoes. For me, as somebody who's interested in eventually learning footwear design, maybe even becoming a footwear designer for a bit, it's really interesting to see how the models have progressed over the years. In certain models, you can see how one shoe easily transitioned over to the other one. For example, the Air Jordan 6 and the Air Jordan 7, you can kind of see how there's a little bit of similarities in between them. But then it's also nice to see where they go completely different between one year and the next. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird, maybe I just appreciate those little things, but for me it's pretty satisfying to see. But with all that being said, if you guys think that you want anything added to the website, or if you have any ideas of what I should do to make it more efficient, by all means let me know in the comment section down below. Now, as you guys already know by now, this is the Air Jordan 3 Bordeaux, which is actually just the women's only release that will be releasing towards the end of the following month. Retail is $180, and there's 2 reasons why I went ahead and I did this sneaker for today's video. One is, of course, it's a sneaker that hasn't released just yet. It's got almost about a month. So by default, when I upload this video, it gives my videos a chance of being recognized from people that might not know about my channel to begin with, so that's always good. And 2, this entire week, I've been kind of doing sneakers that have a variety of color to them. Because traditionally, it seems like I stick with a lot of sneakers that have very plain colors like blacks, grays, and reds. For this week, the color palette has definitely widened a bit. So for example, on Sunday, I did the Pharrell NMD Human Race that was all green. Monday, I did the Air Max 270 Warriors that pretty much had an all blue upper and it had some yellow accents to it. Tuesday, I did the Air Max 97 Mustard Yellow, and then yesterday, I did the Air Jordan 7 Low Bright Concord. Overall, for me, it's nice seeing the color differentiation going, and it's always nice whenever I get to use markers that I've never used before, because you can really kind of feel how it is on the paper. Like, have you guys ever purchased a new pair of Sharpies or whatever, and it's like so crisp, and when you first apply it, it's like cutting into the paper, it sounds so good? I don't know, man, for me, it's those little things that I live for. One more housekeeping topic real quick before I get into the basketball discussion. I'm still really trying to figure out the right way I want to go ahead and I want to do these thumbnails, because I feel like the thumbnails before are really clustered, had a lot of information going on that didn't really need to be there. Thumbnails for YouTube videos are super important because that's the first and only visual you're going to see before you actually commit to watching the video. So yeah, I'm kind of messing with a few things here and there. I'm still trying to decide on what I like and what I think works the best, but let me know what you guys think about the thumbnails down below. Now for some basketball talk. recently had some comments that Walt Frazier made towards Kevin Durant about his decisions and him as a player. For those of you who are not familiar with Walt Frazier, he played towards the end of the 60s and all throughout the 70s. He is 6'4", playing at the point guard position, and he played for 2 teams, mostly of which he played for the Knicks. He played 10 seasons for the Knicks. And in case you guys are interested, in terms of his numbers, averaged about 19 points a game, as well as 6 rebounds and 6 assists. And for whatever it's worth, he was a 7-time All-Star and more importantly, a Hall of Famer. But with all that context in mind, what you're about to listen to is some criticism on Kevin Durant about his decisions and then him as a player and where he's going. Let's give it a listen.
The greater player he is, I would still hold back because, man, he joined a team that really didn't need him. You know what I mean? I mean, he's right there with LeBron. Probably will surpass LeBron as the best player in the game soon, but for him doing that, I still don't give him the full credit that he probably would have deserved if he stayed with OKC and won a title with that team. He's going to be down the list for me because of that, you know, because there will be a asterisk by his name. It's not something that I would have done. I would have never joined West or Russell or Chamberlain. You know, I want to kick their butt.
So first of all, one clap one time for Walt Frazier real quick. So besides the obvious fact that I agree with him because I made these similar comments in previous videos, on this show I do like to pay respect to the greats that have played this game, that have kind of made this game what it is. I don't know much about Walt, but he's a good player and that's all I need to know. So yeah, shout outs to you, Walt. I know you watch this show. Now, the first point that I want to elaborate on is the thing that he said that Warriors didn't need him, which is a very, very important point in this whole discussion. The Warriors did not need him because the Warriors beat the team that he was on. Now, when you think about that statement in and of itself, it's pretty simple. You're thinking, okay, the Warriors beat the Thunder. All right, that's pretty easy to understand. When you place it in its context, the Thunder were up 3-1 against the Warriors. Not just any Warriors with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, the kind of Warriors that won 73 games that regular season. They set the record for the most games won in the regular season ever. The previous team that had set the most games ever won was the 95-96 Chicago Bulls, which won 72 games. Those Bulls kind of had a player that is considered universally as the greatest player to ever play the game. So to have the Warriors achieve the feat that they did that season and then to be down 3-1 against another team that was obviously extremely talented was amazing to see. It's like, oh crap, even though Steph Curry had an amazing season, the guy made like 400 threes, which is out of this world. And besides the fact that they as a team won 73 games, they still had a lot of adversity in the conference finals. Like the Warriors were legit about to blow it. All the work that they put in to make that season so awesome was about to be gone. And then what happened? Game 5, Game 6, and Game 7, they came back and they ended up beating the Thunder and they made it out into the finals. And in case you guys don't know, I'm sure you guys obviously already know, Kevin Durant was on that Thunder team. So to go back to the point that Walt made where it's like they really didn't need him, not only did they really didn't need him because they ended up beating him, he also had the opportunity to beat them. I remember watching an interview Andre Iguodala had with the Breakfast Club, and he was mentioning how that season the Thunder were definitely the most talented team in the league. And if Klay Thompson didn't have that amazing shooting performance in Game 6, the Thunder would have advanced to the finals and probably would have beaten the Cavs. Don't get me wrong, I understand that the Cavs won that year against the Warriors anyway, but I mean, let's be honest, it took a lot of different things to happen in the perfect storm of events to go ahead and beat the Warriors. Now, I don't want to discredit the Cavs too much because even though a lot of different things did have to happen, they still had to be good enough to go ahead and beat them and take the opportunity away from them. But I have a feeling that if the Thunder did beat the Warriors that season and then they went ahead and they advanced to the finals and they faced the Cavs, I have a feeling the Thunder would have won and they would have won their first NBA championship, and that squad probably would have still been together. Like, that one series changed so much for the rest of the league for the next few years. It's crazy. When Walt says that they didn't really need Kevin Durant, well, he's kind of right. And then he also makes the comment about there being an asterisk at the end of his name when referred to one of the greatest players of all time. Because at the rate he's going, he will be one of the greatest players of all time. But at least for the 2 chips that he has right now, do they mean as much as some of the other chips that other players have? No, probably not. Like, I understand that people want to dilute the conversation to make it very black and white, to where if you had the more championships, you did better in your career. But unfortunately, it's it's not that simple because context does matter in these situations. Perfect example is Dirk Nowitzki. He's only got one championship, but man, that was a hell of a championship that he has. He was able to, along with his team, take out the Miami Three's big three when they were first assembled, when it seemed like, oh man, they're definitely going to win a few championships, and they did, they won too. But he definitely took that one from them that first year, so yeah, good job to you, Dirk Nowitzki. Heck, let's take LeBron for example. When we weigh his championships, the one that he won in Cleveland definitely matters a lot more than the two he won in Miami, like that's for sure. I feel like no matter what Kevin Durant does, at the very least for the two championships that he has right now, people will always remember how he got them. And it's not that, oh, he was the best player on a championship team. No, he was a player that was MVP level that joined a team that had the most wins in the regular season ever, that also had a two-time MVP on it, that beat him in a 7-game series in the conference finals when the team that he was on was up 3-1 against them. Now, I don't want to spend too much time roasting Kevin Durant because it'd be very easy to do that. I will say this though, what I personally feel like Kevin Durant needs to do to kind of restore his legacy is that he needs to go to another team that has not had championship success, at least for a while. Luckily for you, Kevin Durant, there's a lot of teams out there that would apply to. Obviously one is, of course, my Orlando Magic. But we know that's not going to happen, so don't sweat it, bro. I get it. Another team that you could possibly go to might be, I don't know, the Knicks. If I'm not mistaken, there's a few other players that have considered playing in New York too. I don't know, maybe like a Kyrie Irving? Let's just go down the hypothetical highway real quick. Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Kristaps Porzingis, and whoever else you want on the team. It doesn't matter at this point. Because the Knicks haven't had any success for a long time, and because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving would be leaving their already really good scenarios to try to start something new, that would help rekindle their careers. Or so Kevin Durant's than Kyrie Irving's. That would show that given a clean slate, they can still do whatever it is they need to do to go ahead and be successful. Yes, it would be a super team, obviously, because you would have Kevin Durant, you would have Kyrie Irving, you'd have Kristaps Porzingis. But if we're also going to be honest, in order to win a championship, you do need to have a super team. Now, he could potentially decide to go to the Lakers, but if I'm being honest, I don't know how I'd feel about that. That'd just be kind of weird. If you're going to leave the Warriors, you might also go to a different state altogether, not in the same state. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. We'll see. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and bounce past the bell to get post notifications. Make sure you hit up KicksArt.com for all your sneaker stencil needs. Check out the other videos on the channel. You guys already know I'm uploading daily videos, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Yay!